Out of all the shows that have come out in 2024, I never would have thought I would place The Penguin as the best one so far. Now that could change depending on how the season ends. So far, with episode 5 being the latest, I've been heavily engaged with the character development of one particular character. While Colin Farrell is doing an amazing job, he isn't the standout here. That belongs to Kristen Milioti in her portrayal as Sofia Falcone, or, as of episode 5, Sofia Gigante. I cannot stress enough how thoroughly developed and intelligent the writing is behind her character, and Kristen Milioti does a masterclass job bringing Sofia to life. She deserves the Emmy, or at least a nomination for her gripping and chilling performance so far. While I do want to praise the show for bringing a strong female character to the screen, I also thought about making this video to point out some of the contrasts between Sofia Gigante and some characters that attempted to be as powerful as her, but failed miserably. I made a video years back mentioning my distaste for the poorly written superhero known as Captain Marvel. What really upset me at the time was the blatantly thin-skinned creators blaming their shortcomings on sexism, while in reality, they just wrote a shitty character. Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm is a prime example of that ideology. And I'm honestly insulted by these people pushing these garbage characters and expecting us to just love them because their sex is female. I find that appalling in comparison to the well-written female characters because they expect us to lump the likes of the CW's Batwoman with the thorough crafted antagonist in The Penguin. Both of them are female characters, but their effectiveness is night and day. Here is why I believe The Penguin succeeded with their strong female character where other shows and movies failed. For one thing, I noticed the writers of this show respect the source material, and it's a bonus that Milioti has been a Batman fan since the age of 7. She claims her dream was to play a DC villain, and this show is a wish come true for her. I'll get back to the performance, but going back to the writers, they respected the IP. They fleshed out the show's characters, creating complex criminals that share a lot of similarities to The Sopranos. This show follows those similar beats, but in Matt Reeves' Gotham. They made sure the world felt the same as the one in the Batman, while also leaning into an even darker story. It's smart, it all connects, characters have meaningful arcs, and it is all done with respect to the source material they were given. Now, compare that to the writers for all those Star Wars shows, Batwoman, and She-Hulk. They didn't give a fuck about the IP or the characters they're bringing to life. All they cared about was virtue signaling to like-minded people while putting no effort into actually building these female leads. Even if the message is to inspire women, that doesn't excuse it from being a crap product. It would get infuriating having the head of Lucasfilm chalk up her failures as a result of misogyny. Really, Kathleen? Grow up. Sorry we don't mindlessly shovel in the garbage you throw at us and just accept it. The female audiences deserve a better, deeper, and more intriguing character than your Ray Palpatines and Carol Danvers. You should learn a thing or two from the Penguin showrunner, Lauren LaFranc. Get off your soapbox and take some notes from a real pro, Kathleen. But the writers aren't the only issue with these failed female leads. Character charisma is important too. I feel like Brie Larson is the best example of no charisma when it comes to Captain Marvel. Trust me, she knows how to act and did a phenomenal job in Room. However, she shows none of that for her superhero character. She just seems bored playing the role, and the audience deserves better. Kristen Milioti appears to heavily respect the source material and how she would perform as her character. A great indicator of an actor's range is seeing how their character acts compared to how they are as a person. Sofia is a dark spirit that would make anybody shit their pants if they ended up in a situation with her. Kristen, on the other hand, seems incredibly sweet and friendly. I love it when an actor is able to transform themselves truly into their role versus those who just play themselves in everything. Bree and Carol are interchangeable, so how can I really care about the character if she's not even putting in the effort? Enough about the previous failures. I want to celebrate what we currently have been gifted with Sofia Gigante. Her arc has her struggle and suffer before reaching her goals, which is necessary for the audience to attach themselves to the performance. While the poorly made female characters I mentioned earlier had everything come super easy to them, Sofia had to earn it. For 4 episodes, she was shunned and ridiculed by her own family, feeling alone and like an outcast for something she didn't even do. I'm going to talk about the show more in depth, so this is your spoiler warning. 10 years before the series picks up, Sofia Falcone was sent to Arkham for killing 7 women by hanging them, which is where she gets her name, the Hangman. However, it is revealed in episode 4 that she truly was innocent, but her asshole mobster father pinned the deaths on her while he was the one who actually strangled and killed the women. The audience gains more sympathy for Sofia while she gets unfairly sent to Arkham, where she is tortured by her inmates as well as the head psychiatrist. A truly innocent woman turned dark, bitter, and violent to a cruel environment. It's hard not to feel bad for her after learning the horrible injustice she has faced all these years. That's why it's so satisfying when she gasses her whole family except for Johnny Vitti and the little girl, Gia. Those family members wrote affidavits telling the judge she was mentally ill, always treating her lesser. Killing them off frees something within Sofia, transforming her into a much more confident force than we've ever seen her before. Her transformation into Sofia Gigante to the tune of Reckless by St. Vincent is one of the most badass things I've seen out of television. Switching from her usual prim and proper look as Sofia Falcone into the fur coat and war paint eyeliner, her Gigante persona emerges. Now that is how you develop an intriguing female character. She earned her rise to power after suffering under the thumb of the older men in her family. And the cherry on top is her keeping Johnny alive to rally the troops just to pop him in the meeting. He was always such a prick to her and always interrupted or undermined her. So when he once again interrupted her during the meeting, she didn't hesitate pulling out her pistol and blowing a hole through his head. I could go on and on about how captivating Kristen's acting is, as well as how tremendous the writing is behind Sofia's character, but I think you get it. Hollywood, this is how you make a female character. They should all follow Sofia Gigante's example. Now, the remaining episodes could ruin the show and her character, but I'm hopeful based on what they've executed so far. My fear is if they kill her off this season because Sofia has such potential that can be utilized further. Whether she's in another season of The Penguin or an antagonist in The Batman Part 2, they need to have her blossom in more material. Let Kristen enjoy her dream and continue her development as the badass female villain she's been yearning to play.